What's up, y'all? The only Poetic here. I'm back once again with another YouTube video, man. So in this YouTube video, this is going to be Home Depot 2022-2023 lyric video, okay? This is great, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't been on this channel in a long time, okay? I have not been on this channel in a minute, right? So what that means is I really just been ghosted shit. I will be returning to music when I eventually fly out to LA. You see what I'm saying? I will be, you know what I'm saying, featuring with a few niggas, doing a couple solos and shit. I'll be back to doing music, right? But I'm not 100% like how I used to be as far as releasing 3 to 4 songs a week. It's gonna be more like kind of just a rare occurrence, but I am coming back. I will be back for music, okay? So anyway, you know what I'm saying? I got Home Depot 2022 through 23 right here. I'm about to do a lyric video to this song. Yeah, you're probably wondering, well, why are you doing lyric videos to this song for? What's the reasoning behind it, right? Well, I want to do a lyric video to this song because I'm introducing Paint. You see what I'm saying? On my YouTube channel, right? My YouTube channel is Cam That Guy. Go check it out. Go subscribe, all that shit, right? I'm introducing Paint to a lot of niggas out there and shit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, why not do a lyric video to this song? You know what I'm saying? Since I'm introducing Paint on my channel, why not drop this on my music channel and shit? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking forward to doing, okay? So without further ado, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get into this, okay? Uh, 2022 through 23 lyric video, you know what I'm saying? Cue the music. I'm gonna put an edit in there, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, here goes the lyric video, right? Left my job for greener pasture. New job offer more money, which matter. My assignment I did gather. Learning paint was spectacular. My last days there I was a master, but started when things were a disaster. Got called in just like a platter. The background check had me flattered. Good wordplay, by the way, and good lyrics. But anyway, let's go and get into it, right? Left my job for greener pasture. That means I left Dollar Tree for Home Depot. I left for greener pasture. That means I left for essentially better things, a better opportunity, more money, more people, better career, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I left for that, right? Left my job for greener pasture, right? New job offered more money, which mattered. That didn't matter, right? At Dollar Tree, I was making $11.50. At Home Depot, it was 14. Now, like I said, this was in a couple years ago, right? The pay rate went up in Tallahassee, right? They raise it every year. It seemed like recently they'd be raised like every year or every 2 years, right? But around this time, you know what I'm saying? I was getting paid 11.50, and then it went up to 14, and then there was a point in time my pay rate was at 16 at Home Depot, right? So it was rising and shit. Then once I left, they stopped raising it. You know what I mean? But no, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying, I had any influence in that, but I'm just saying, you know, for clarity. You know what I mean? That's all that shit. But look, yeah, you know what I mean? And when I first started Dollar Tree, I was making $8, right? That was the minimum wage in Florida around 2021. And then when I became assistant manager, it went up and all that other shit, right? But anyway, yeah, so new job offer more money, which matters. So that didn't matter to me, right? Because the more money you pay me, the more work you're gonna get out of me, type shit. That's kind of how jobs work and shit, right? That's how I look at it, right? That's why Dollar Tree didn't do shit. But it didn't even matter, you know what I'm saying, about the pay rate anyway. It was just like the situation, like I waste my time to clean up a store and get fucked up 30 minutes later. What's the point of it? I'm putting away items. Next thing you know, I got another cart full of items. I recovered the store, so in other words, that means you clean the store or whatever. It's fucked up in a couple minutes to an hour. I'm like, bro, I'm wasting my time doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do this shit getting paid $8 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Even when they rolled it to 11.50, I was trying out first, but I'm like, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? This is not worth my time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna clean some shit and customers come in and fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that shit. This is not worth my time. You know what I'm saying? So I'll just go in that bitch chilling. I talk to my coworker. I'll be in the back room. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do or some shit. Like it was just that was the job. And obviously, I don't want y'all to think I was just not doing anything. I mean, every now and then I'll do some shit just in case they look at the cameras and shit. But I mean, for the most part, like, bro, I was not doing shit. Like sometimes I just act like I'm doing something, you know what I mean, to make it seem like, you know, like that's just how it be and shit, you know what I'm saying? But like, bro, like, you got me fucked up. But anyway, look, my assignment I did gather, you know what I'm saying? My assignment I did gather. So what that means is I got assignment means my happiness I gathered together, right? Learning paint was spectacular means learning paint was awesome, okay? My last days there, I was a mess. I mean, my last days there, honestly, I felt really, really good. You know what I'm saying? Master's a little bit of a stress. There's niggas that know a whole lot more paint than me. But I would say whatever it takes the Home Depot standards, I was a master. You see what I'm saying? Home Depot standards, I was a master. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say, right? Um, but started when things were a disaster. You know what I'm saying? So I started when things were a disaster. That means when I started, things were not very well. You see what I'm saying? Like when it pertains to myself and the knowledge of paint and kind of just the department in general. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of, it didn't really have structure. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really get that, balance. You know what I'm saying? It never really had balance. You know what I'm saying? But I would say as time went on, it got more balanced because we got other things to control the department. You know what I'm saying? There was other things to keep the department in control and shit. So more things got done. Whereas when I first began, we didn't have all these different things to do. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of like what it was when we first got there. It was kind of just like you just mix paint and shit. That's it. You know what I mean? But then as time went on, we got other things to do as far as okay, you go in the overhead, take things down, put it away. You fix things with the aisle, you take shit out. You know what I'm saying? All that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Is that what's it called? Sidekick, pocket guide, all that bullshit, right? It was more things that got installed into Home Depot, right? But when I first started, it was like you just do paint and that's it. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what it was and shit. So a lot of things advanced as time went on and shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, I started with this with a disaster. So a disaster was pretty much I wasn't as good when I first began, and it was just like a disaster because like we didn't do shit. That's kind of like what it was and shit. You know what I mean? Got caught in just like a platter. That means I got caught in like a platter. Platters are like food platters. You know what I'm saying? You hand them out. You know what I mean? Wherever the case may be. So I got caught in just like that. Or yeah. You know what I mean? Let me see. The background check had me flattered. You see how sad that means? The background check that they did on me had me flattered, right? So at this time, I did have a disorderly conduct and petty theft. You know what I'm saying? I did have that, right? Now, it took a while for the background check because it was scanned. And some background checks they supposed to be 24 to 48 hours, right? But with this background check, it took longer for some reason. You know what I mean? So yeah. Okay, here we go. Did lots of training videos, skipped that shit just like a B-roll. Get into work was all I know. Got done, they threw me on the flow. Got trained by this guy, gate info. He was cool sometimes at Bozo. Then he transferred, he had to go. Then I was alone, got exposed. Here we go, man. Did lots of training videos. That means I did do a lot of training videos. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot, like when I first got there, the first, like, I believe 2 days I did training videos, right? But towards the end, that's when I began to skip the training videos. So I did training videos not pertaining to paint, but to the Home Depot company. And there was a little bit of paint in there, but it was mainly towards the Home Depot company. Let me say that for clarity. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then towards the end, that's when I skipped the shit. You see what I'm saying? That's when I just skipped the shit. You know what I'm saying? So I did the training videos, which obviously was mainly towards Home Depot, but it did have paint in it. I do remember paint being in it, but it was mainly the Home Depot company, right? And then I skipped it because I was like, I want to hurry up and get on the floor. I'm tired of doing this shit, right? So I skipped it because I was eager to get on the floor. Getting to work was all I know. You see what I'm saying? So getting to work was like my goal. Like that was all I knew. Like I wanted to get to work. You see what I'm saying? That was like my priority. Like I want to hurry up and get to work. Like I wanted to work. Getting to work was all I know. I skipped this shit. Oh wait, I never mentioned hold up. Okay, did lots of training video. Okay, skip that shit just like a B roll. So what that means is skip that shit just like a B roll. A B roll is like a you know what I'm saying? It's like an intelligent. We could just say a B roll is like a professional person. That's what we could say for clarity. You know what I mean? We just put it like that. I skipped it just like that because I mean, if I would have sat there and do those training videos, I would probably be there for a week or 2 weeks. Like, go ahead and skip that bullshit. I don't need to. I don't need to listen to this shit. So getting to work was all I know, obviously. And then got done, they threw me on the floor. So I got done, they threw me on the floor. After I told them I was done with deliveries, they threw me out there. They said, "Well, go and get on the floor." You know what I mean? So that's what they did. That shit. Then got trained by this guy, gave info. I got trained by this guy, he gave me info, right? I got trained by everybody in the department, but I did have a main trainer, he gave me info. He was cool sometimes a bozo. That means he was cool and sometimes a bozo. A bozo means kind of like a fool, or whatever the case may be, right? But he was a cool dude. Then he transferred, he had to go. He transferred to another department because another department needed him. And I think they was gonna give him a pay raise or whatever. Then I was alone, got exposed. That means when I was alone, I got exposed, but I put expo, which is a short abbreviation for expose and shit. So once I was alone, I got, when I was working with somebody, I couldn't get exposed or, embarrassed or anything, right? Because I got somebody beside me, right? But when you're alone and shit, you get embarrassed a lot. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, what that means, exposed means embarrassed. All right. Next paragraph. I had to learn shit from the beginning. Rare items, search shit up ongoing. Customers okay, some distracted. My peers didn't speak, they were choking. I like missing paint, it's amazing. Doing tense a little too draining. Managers were always complaining. Few guys I know were understanding. So here we go, man. I had to learn shit from the beginning. That means I had to learn everything from the beginning. A lot of niggas think I came in, you know what I'm saying, just knowing shit off the bat. You see what I'm saying? Like, no, I want niggas to know. It was a process for me because, you know what I'm saying, I was mainly on my own. I think my third day there is when I first worked by myself, if I remember correctly, right? You know what I mean? So I want people to know everything I learned in paint was trial and error. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't like niggas was, hovering over me the whole way through. You know what I'm saying? Like some newcomers that came to paint, they will always work with somebody. They always had somebody over them and shit. I think my third day there, fresh as fuck, don't know a lick of paint. I had to, do it on my own. I just had to read labels, go to Google, this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how it is. Paint is hard, but once you get it, it's easy. You can easily get more knowledge on it. But learning paint from the start is challenging. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how it was, right? So I had to learn shit for the beginning. Read items, search shit up on going. That means I read the items, I searched shit up. So I read the labels, whatever I could do. I looked up shit on Google, all that other shit. Customers okay, some distracted me. Some customers though are okay, some were distracted. You know what I'm saying? I did come across a few rude customers there, not a whole lot. Most customers, they're respectful, they got what they got, kept it moving, right? But some customers, they felt the need to test me out. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it was, right? You know what I mean? Okay. My peers didn't speak, they were choking. That means my peers didn't speak, they were choking. That means there's a lot of people there, right? Even people I've spoken to and conversate with, they didn't really, feel comfortable speaking to me. You see what I'm saying? That's just what it was, right? You know what I mean? Now, I don't mean that in an offensive way, but you know what I'm saying? Let's say, if I do end up speaking to you more than once, you know what I'm saying? All that other shit, it wouldn't hurt to greet me, right? You know what I mean? And as far as strangers or some shit, it wouldn't hurt to greet me either. I mean, you see I'm brand spanking new, come talk to me, but hey, I see you new here. My name is such and such, you know what I'm saying? Let me introduce you to some people I know here. You know what I'm saying? That's common. That's having like common courtesy. That's having like good mannerism and good social skills, right? You know what I mean? That's just how I think. That's what I would do if I was in a situation like that. I mean, I advance so much in like conversation skills and networking skills. I'm beyond the old me, but that's what I would do and shit. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah. So I like mixing paint. It's amazing. That means I like mixing paint. That means, okay, I enjoy to mix paint. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. It's fun. I like mixing paint. Mixing paint is cool. Mixing paint, if you don't know what that means, paint comes on the shelf as a base. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much white, right? And then you just add colorants to it to give it color. So that's called mixing paint. You're mixing colorants with the original paint. But theoretically, technically, that the colorants is called paint. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah. Doing tense is a little too draining. So doing tense. So tense, you know what I'm saying, is the colors that get dispensed into the paint. So we go up in the ladder and we pour that shit to keep the tense going, right? So doing tense is draining because you're going up and down the ladder, you pouring that shit, you get paint all over you shit. I spilled paint on my shoe doing that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it can get draining and shit. You know what I mean? Let me see. Okay, managers were always complaining. You know what I'm saying? Managers were always complaining. Oh my goodness, managers would micromanage you like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I never seen that like managers would handpick a couple of niggas just to micromanage. If you don't know what micromanage means, that means you get on somebody in every which way they can. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, micromanage is pretty much. Let me give you an example of micromanaging, right? Micromanager is this. I just want to break this down for clarity because I didn't describe it good enough. So micromanaging, let's say I work at a restaurant, right? So micromanaging is you stand on top of somebody like, look, you know what I mean? Make sure, you know what I'm saying, when you go to the customer, you greet them. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you hand them a menu. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you wash your hands after each interaction. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you have a good ink pen and other ink pens so you look professional. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and third, you know what I'm saying? you're micromanaging them. You see what I'm saying? You're managing them to the T. You're being very extra. You're abusing your power. You see what I'm saying? That's micromanaging. You know what I mean? So that's what that is, right? You know what I mean? A few guys I knew were understanding. That means a few guys I knew were understanding. A few people there they could relate to me. They was like, man, I agree with you, but they didn't say that verbally. You know what I mean? But they didn't say that on the surface, but they pretty much agree with me, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so next paragraph. Me and this cashier guy was mutual. He gave me fist bumps was suitable. I do imagine shit and doodle. That guy envy and this like a poodle. Me closing alone was doable. They hated envy provable. I made more ha. I made more ah. They hated envy provable. I made more hold on. Give me 1 second. Alright, so look. I had to throw the glasses on. Y'all see me struggling and shit, right? You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and redo this. I made more movement movable. It was supposed to say, as I got written down, I made more some movement movable. But here's how I go. I made more movement movable. Let me show you, right? Where's that? Right here. All right. I made more some movement movable, but I said I made more movement movable. That's what I said. You know what I mean? In the audio of the song. Always showed up, I'm reliable, right? So I always showed up. You know what I mean? That means I always showed up. Oh, let me explain the previous lyric. I made more movement movable. So what that means was, a couple niggas that, were trying, if you're trying to attach to me, I made movement by me saying the previous statement. They hated and envied provable. That statement created separation for any niggas that wanted to attach themselves with me with any jealousy or just because they wanted, get some clout or some shit. You know what I mean? And then I said I made more movement movable. That means that's the movement I made. And then I said I always showed up, I'm reliable. So that means I always showed up. You know what I'm saying? I always showed up to work. One thing about me, I always show up. You see what I'm saying? I always show up. You know what I mean? One thing you cannot, talk about me not showing up and shit. I forgot to review the lyrics from the top. You know what I'm saying? So let me go ahead and do that real quick. I didn't review the lyrics up top yet. I got off track. So look, I finished off with managers were always complaining, right? No, a few guys I knew were understanding. Okay, then we go into me and this cashier was mutual. Yeah, there was the one cashier up there. We was cool. Mutual means cool, right? Then he gave me fist bumps. You know what I'm saying? He gave me fist bump because you can say he respected me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it's something. And I want to say, he respected me 100%, but he had some form of respect for me. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. I do imagine shit and doodle. That means I imagine shit in my head and I just create it. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, you know what I'm saying? This is kind of like a lyric that can't really be 100% pertaining to paint. This is kind of just in a general sense as far as me speaking and how I move and shit like that. Doodle is pretty much you doodle around like on a paper. You know how you draw random shit and you just on a paper you doodling. You know what I'm saying? You just messing around and shit. That's kind of like that's what I'm alluding to. You know what I mean? And then that guy envy and dislike a poodle. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I would say the cashier, he did envy me, and I feel like he did dislike me. You know what I'm saying? So I think these are valid, and I'm being honest. You know what I'm saying? And I call him a poodle. You know what I mean? And I did this just to create separation because I didn't want him to attach to me. You know what I'm saying? So that was the reason why I said that, right? You know what I mean? And then I said me closing alone was doable. That means me closing alone was doable. You know what I'm saying? I was able to close alone. It was doable. It was able. You know what I'm saying? I could make it happen, right? You know what I mean? And I said they hated envy provable. That means everybody there, everybody there hated and envied. You know what I mean? Just to create movement. That's the reason why I said I made more movement movable. Then I always showed up. I'm reliable. So here we go to the next fucking shit. Okay, here we go, man. Next, met this other guy who's older. He hated at times, other times golder. I could say he turned me more bolder. We had good convos, I'm imploder. Towards my last days, he was a soldier. They tried to use me as a loader. I'm not that strong, I am a toter. Working there gave me skills, a grower. Here we go, man. Next, met the other guy who's older. I met this other older guy. And he was cool to talk to and shit. You know what I'm saying? We had a lot of good conversations. We had a little bit of the same mindset in certain things and shit. We had a couple disagreements, but he was the coolest guy there to talk to. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed talking to him there. You know what I'm saying? Talking to him would kill time. You know what I'm saying? That's what it would do. You know, for people that there that have regular jobs, you know that one coworker you talk to, you probably kill like a couple minutes to an hour with. That's kind of that's what he was. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the only dudes there that I could really talk to because honestly he was in a department right next to me, so that's what it was and shit, you know what I mean? So yeah. He hated at times, other times goated. So that means, yeah, he did, had a couple of hateful statements toward me and shit like that. But at other times he was golder, which means he was better, you know what I'm saying? So he hated at times, but other times he was golder, which means, he was, if you don't know what gold means, it means, appealing, you know what I'm saying? That how I'm using it in the sentence, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying, right? So sometimes he told me some shit, you know what I'm saying? He told me some positive shit, not no advice, you know what I'm saying? But just like, just good shit that, we talking about and shit, you know what I mean? I can say he turned me more bolder. Now, here's what I can say: he did make me become a more bolder as far as talking to other people. So me talking to him made me feel comfortable at the Home Depot itself to go branch out and talk to other people. Right? That's kind of what it was. He was one of the first niggas that, what I mean, I was really, what I'm saying, in and out like day to day with, what I'm saying. So me talking to him made me want to go talk to other people and shit, cause I talked to him first type shit. What I'm saying? That's kind of like what it was and shit. So yeah, what I mean? Uh, Let me see. We have good convos. I'm employed. I mean, we had good conversations. I'm imploder. I don't. You know what I'm saying? When I say imploder, I mean honestly. You know what I'm saying? I use this word. You know what I mean? I don't want to give you a wrong definition. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna say, you know what I'm saying? Imploder means, you know what I mean? I'm good. You see what I'm saying? I'm good. That's what we're gonna say, right? You know what I mean? I don't want to give you a wrong definition, but in hindsight, you could look this definition up. It'll be something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good. You see what I'm saying? That's what it means, right? You know what I mean? Toward my last days, he was a soldier, right? So towards my last days there, he did sold, and what that means is he he became, what I'm saying, a different person. So in other words, you know what I'm saying, what it means a soul, it means you kind of, I don't know if you ever heard this term, you fumbling, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, or you just you know what I'm saying, your character just being a little different, this, that, and the third. So here's how he sold, right? You know what I mean? He, you know what I mean, there was a point in time we had a little beef. This actually happened towards the end though. We had a little beef where we stopped talking. Then he wanted to re-talk to me and shit. Then we had a little something something, right? Then you know what I mean. He like you know what I mean. I don't know. So he started acting different, like weird. Like the conversations we had wasn't really the same. Then I remember he started hanging out at the cashier place. I'm like, when he never stands up there and talk to niggas, right? He was just up there talking to people for some reason. Then he comes back to me and mentions something, saying like, hey, da 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 da. No, I'm not gonna mention on camera. I was just like, what I'm saying? He was just acting different, what I'm saying? Like just all around, what I'm saying? Like he sold, what I'm saying? So in other words, I guess you could say, he snitched or something like that. I guess that's a term because, people, what I'm saying, they knew I was popular but didn't want to make that be known. So I guess that's a better word for it, what I'm saying? That's what he ended up doing, right? But when I was using word sold, I just, he just started acting different. Like, he just started, that's just how it was and shit, you know what I mean? But essentially, you could say snitch doesn't mean sold, you know what I'm saying, or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So he just started acting like that. And then they try to use me as a loader. That means Home Depot niggas, they try to use me as a loader and shit. I'm not that strong. I am a toter. You see what I'm saying? So what that means, I told him, look, I'm not that strong. I am a toter. Now let me say this for clarity. I remember in Scam Lyric video, I said I have strong arms like I swim. You know what I'm saying? Go look back at that lyric video, and I'm gonna explain what I meant in that. And yeah, but I would say, what I'm saying, when I was working out, I did have strong arms. I would say for somebody that don't work out in my size and structure, I do have strong arms. I am stronger than what I appear. You know what I'm saying? I do want to say that. You know what I mean? But for somebody with the diet that I have, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that does not work out, I think I am pretty strong and just like my weight and all that other shit. I probably weigh like 140 or 30 right now. I fucking around lost a lot of weight with this pescatarian diet and shit, right? I am stronger than what I appear. Let me say that, you know what I'm saying? For somebody of my size and stature. You know what I'm saying? So let me say that for clarity. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let me see though, where am I at? So I'm not that strong. I am a total. Working there gave me skills and grow there. So working there did give me good skills. It gave me painting skills, but skills even outside of paint. It gave me just good skills of dealing with certain things there, knowing certain items and other departments. Home Depot was one of the best places I could have worked at because it gave me good like trade skills, like hardware skills and shit. So that was good for me to do that. Next, uh, the old men at my desk was wise. They held me well, gave me good reminds. This lady rude, sometimes nice. Did my duties, I did the size. Beginning to pro how time flies. Customer service was precise. Bree was alright, I compromised. All the other hoes there get subsidized. So here we go, man. The old man at my desk was wise. So the old man there at my desk, you know what I'm saying? They was wise. You see what I'm saying? There was some good old men. They knew shit. Like they fucking around knew about paint before it was made type shit. Like they knew paint a lot. You know what I'm saying? There was like fucking Google. Like you ask them some shit, they'll tell it to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was or some shit, right? So the old man there was definitely very, you know what I'm saying, wise when it came to paint. So yeah, you know what I mean? They helped me well, gave me good reminds. That means they did help me well when I needed help and gave me good reminders of certain shit, right? But I do want to say this though, towards like, springtime and shit like that, I was well off, you know what I'm saying? I didn't need their help, none of that shit, you know what I mean? And then especially towards the end, I was top dog in that apartment, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to use that term. I don't want people to clout chase. Let me not say that. I was the head of that department pretty much. I was the head of it. You know what I'm saying? I was, number one, you know what I'm saying, in that department. When it just came to customer service, delivery, doing shit, I was number one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know what I mean? Uh, so they helped me go get me around. This lady was rude sometimes, nice. So there was this lady I was working with. Typically I would close after her. She was rude and sometimes nice. So she had a couple moments where she was a little rude and shit. But then she had some moments where she was nice and shit. She was pretty knowledgeable. I ended up surpassing her towards the end and shit. She had her negative thoughts about me and shit, but I showed her. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes and shit. But I hope she's doing well and shit. Did my duties, I did the size, you know what I'm saying? I say that because she had health issues and shit, you know what I mean? But anyways, I did my duties, I did the size, you know what I'm saying? So what that means is I did my duties, I did my job, I did my, this description and shit. And I did my duties, I did the size. So I decided to do my duties and shit. A lot of people think when I was there I didn't do anything. I did what I was supposed to do. You see what I'm saying? I did what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? I want to let niggas know that, you know what I mean? Beginner to pro, how time flies, you know what I'm saying? So what that means was I was a beginner to pro. That's how time flies, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was a beginner, now I'm a pro. You know what I'm saying? Customer service was precise, you know what I'm saying? That means my customer service was precise. That means it was well, it was good, it was great. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means. Bree was all right, I compromised. That means Bree was all right, you know what I'm saying? I compromise. Compromise kind of means like compromise means kind of like this kind of like something you settle to. You know what I'm saying? I settle. I will admit that Bree was all right. You know what I'm saying? I had a little chip malfunction right there, but Bree was all right. You know what I'm saying? That's what she was and shit. You know what I mean? And yeah, all the other hoes there get subsided. I mean, all the other hoes there get subsided. That's kind of fucked up for me to say, but you know what I'm saying? All the other hoes there, looking back on it, I still agree with this statement. You see what I'm saying? All the hoes there get subsided. You know what I'm saying? That means all the other hoes there, fuck them. That's pretty much what I'm saying. You know what I mean? All the other hoes there, fuck them. Bree was the only one that was alright. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what I'm saying. You know what I mean? But anyway, here we go, man. There was a bitch there that pestered me. I thought that she was a slut, really. A girlfriend, a priority. At this time, that's all I can see. Realized I was hacked, thankfully. This shit I was doing good, I seized. On the inside, had me empty. Now at this moment, I'm lonely. You know what I'm saying? So here we go, man. All the other... hold on. Okay, okay. There was a bitch there that pestered me, you know what I'm saying? There was this one girl there, she kept pestering me. I'm like, she kept bothering me and shit. I'm like, first of all, bitch, you not really my type, you know what I'm saying? And you a hoe and shit like that. Like, why you keep bothering me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know I'm not interested in you. Back off. You know what I mean? I thought that she was a slut, really. I feel like she was a slut. I could have been misjudgmental, but that's what I felt like. My girlfriend, a priority. So what that means was, okay, a girlfriend was a priority at this time, but I couldn't find that at the Home Depot. I could not find that. Now, there was cashier hoes I could have talked to. Don't get it fucked up, bro. I didn't come alive until, like I said, towards my end days, as far as talking to cashier hoes. Very shy at first, you know what I'm saying? It took a lot of time, right? But even just besides that, you know what I'm saying? It was just the principle, like, man, I'm going out my way to walk up to a cashier hoe. It's easier to talk to retail versus cashier. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, it's easier to talk to people that's in the back versus the front. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a lot of niggas in the back. You know what I'm saying? Every girl in the back I've talked to. Niggas in the front, I'm going the extra mile to talk to you. You see what I'm saying? So that's the difference, you know what I mean? But anyway, at this time, okay, girlfriend had priority. Yeah, at this time, that's all I could see. So at this time, I was trying to get a girlfriend, but I wasn't trying that hard. You know what I mean? I realized I was hacked, thankfully. So I realized I was hacked, thankfully. I'm glad I realized I got hacked by this bitch that kind of played a role in me discovering my hackness once and for all and shit. You know what I mean? Um, so I realized I was hacked, thankfully. This shit I was doing good, I seized. I mean, this shit I was doing good, I seized. That means, as far as me discovering my hackness and shit. On the inside, had me empty. That means I was empty once I discovered I got hacked. I'm like, man, I'm fucked up. And then now at this time, now at this moment, I'm lonely. That means at this moment, I'm lonely because I figured I got hacked. Good for me to discover it, but I'm lonely as fuck and I'm fucked up. All right. Last paragraph. As time went on, I became more social, just like as I mentioned earlier, right? As time went on, I became more social, which did leave me very vulnerable. Had no issues, period, substantial. It was just the bosses disgraceful. They knew that I was really ample, but I'll talk about that next sample. Part two will be a good example. I think it will be an awesome novel. So here we go. As time went on, I became more social. So what that means is, as time went on, I became more talkative, which did leave me very vulnerable. That means it left me more vulnerable to other shit. You know what I'm saying? Just other things in between, right? But it was good because it helped discover my happiness. So that's why it was good and shit. It left me vulnerable, but it was good though. Had no issues, pure substantial. That means my coworkers, I had no issue with no coworker, with the exception of older dude. Had no issue with no coworker. I didn't really have issues with him because I feel like we, even though we left on the wrong foot, we overall had a good relationship. And I seen him recently in a store and shit. You know what I mean? So I mean, the fact that he showed up in the same store as me, this, that, and the third. I mean, I appreciate the effort. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes and shit. You know what I mean? Let me see. I had no issues, period, substantial. It was just the bosses disgraceful. Yeah, the bosses there were bad. You know what I'm saying? First of all, they didn't know anything. And then, you know what I'm saying, they were micromanaging you like a motherfucker. Uh, they knew that I was really ample. That means they knew that I was really, you know what I'm saying, with the shits, you know what I'm saying, really ample, really like up there, really amped, you know what I'm saying, really like. That's a little chip right there, you know what I'm saying? That shit made me cough. For niggas that's watching this earlier, I had the camera guy. For niggas out there that's watching, had the cam that guy, you'll know what I'm talking about as far as the chip and shit. But ample, you know what I'm saying? That means, really, amped, cool, with it, got it. Well, yeah, I mean, they knew that I was really up there. That's all I can really say. But I'll talk about that next sample. That means I'll talk about that in the next sample, the next part of this song, because I knew I was getting ready to make a part two to this song. I'm gonna talk about the managers in part two. I think it will be a good example, right? Well, part two will be a good example. I think it will be an awesome novel, right? So, I think it will be an awesome novel. That means if you don't know what a novel is, that means like story and shit. So I talked about that in part two. I broke down the manager's first paragraph. Then I talked about some hoes that rejected me in the second paragraph. So I'm saying, so part two was like my negative part of Home Depot. So part one of Home Depot was like the synopsis of it and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was like, introduction, like me getting going, this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? Then part two was obviously the fucked up managers and me getting rejected. And then part three was the good at Home Depot and shit. So I had it all broke down and shit. So Home Depot was like this like medium, and then part two is bad, and then part three is good. That's how I broke it down and shit. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yeah, and that's it and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? This Home Depot part one. You know what I mean? A little lengthy, you know what I'm saying? But it's cool and shit, you know what I mean? I hope y'all enjoyed it and shit. And all that other shit. I hope y'all fuck with my waves and shit. I know you see them coming. I hope y'all like my beard and shit. You know what I mean? All that other shit. So I hope y'all, like me and shit. I hope y'all like my point of view of everything and shit like that. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said and shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much shit, you know what I mean? That's pretty much all I gotta say and shit. And I hope y'all, you know what I'm saying, enjoy, you know what I'm saying, what I had to say and shit. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.